Let's talk about brokenness. So first of all, congratulations on feeling your brokenness. And when I showed up as a client, I had a huge sense of brokenness. I was over 60, I had too many bad habits, I wasn't figuring it out fast enough. And if one guy was doing better than me, then I thought, well, I'm behind and maybe I'm just too fucking broken to grow. And it's really popular to tell guys that, look, you're not broken, there's nothing to fix, you're perfect the way you are, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not really sure how helpful that is. Because I believe that, yeah, you're broken. Now, get on with it. And now, there's a big difference between being broken and being beyond repair. Your brokenness is a gift. It's what makes you unique. Now, in the physical world, broken things that get repaired are weaker. But on this internal world, once you start to embrace your entire past and all the shame and all the mistakes and all the stuff that's happened to you, and once you start to embrace it, it energetically starts to become really interesting and really, I wouldn't say powerful, but textured. That you have lived a life with failures and upsets and griefs and mistakes, and it's all incredibly beautiful. I've been reading recently about the Japanese art of Kintsugi. Kintsugi is the art of repairing ceramics, bowls, cups that have been shattered, but repairing them by gluing them back together with beautiful lacquer that's laced in gold. It treats repair as transformation, not something to be disguised, but actually celebrated. It suggests that the shape of us is impossible to see until the crack is highlighted. And not just highlighted, made beautiful. Now, we're brought up to believe that the pristine is ideal, that perfection is what we're looking for, that there is a destination, there is a way to be. But Kintsugi celebrates the crack. A gal I'm seeing has some stretch marks. I can hardly see them, but she can see them. And she actually loves them. And she shared with me in some Instagram posts of women who decorate their stretch marks with gold or red. And they're these incredibly beautiful shapes that you can actually feel this woman's body. And that's what I want you guys to think about. That these wounds, these cracks that run the length of you, make you who you are. And by trying to hide these cracks, or trying to distract people from looking at these cracks, or putting on a character, or covering them up, not only does it take a lot of effort, it's actually not celebrating what makes you really unique. And especially the older guys who I talk to, that they think that their lives are meaningless. All the things that they've gone through in their life don't add up to anything. Well, those of us who are older are men of history. And by trying to put a shadow around those, or trying to distract people from what those things are, it makes us less real, rather than just owning our shit. So, let's be broken. Let's celebrate our brokenness. For example, I had a mole removed on my head. It took like 5 stitches, it was this thing, and I had it removed, and I was really embarrassed by the scar. And then the other day I looked at this, because not only is it a scar, but it's a dent on my head. I don't know if you can see it. It's a dent. And I think it's actually, it's kind of cool. I'm walking around with a dent in my head. I don't know, I feel like kind of a badass. You guys have scars? Ever sat around with a bunch of guys and looked at each other's scars and goes, yeah, I got this. I put a hatchet in my leg when I was 12 years old. Put a hatchet in my leg. I have a beautiful scar from that. So how do you celebrate your brokenness? Well, wear it like a badge of honor. Especially when you talk to women. Especially when you talk to women. You don't have to call out your brokenness, but you can just feel it and just feel how flawed, beautifully flawed you are. It makes an entirely different vibration between you and that woman. Now, there's one mistake guys make, is that they cave in on their brokenness. Oh, I'm brokenness. I am not repairable. That's a totally different vibe than, yeah, I'm broken. And I'm taking tiny steps every day to be the lacquer in the cracks, to be the gold in the cracks. So everybody can just see it. It makes you like three-dimensional, and it makes you really attractive. There's a gift inside of brokenness, just like there's a gift inside of sadness, which is your connection with the world. Or the gift inside of anger is energy, let's get something done. Or I'm tired of this bullshit and I'm going to move forward. The energy and the blessing inside of brokenness is your connection to everybody else's brokenness in the world. And when you can feel your brokenness, you can feel the brokenness of any woman that you meet. I met a woman at a yoga class a few months ago. She was 6 feet tall, was elegant, incredibly beautiful, had to have been a runway model. She was like this gazelle walking amongst us. And I just went and said hi to her and how she liked the class. And I could feel in that moment her brokenness, which is nobody ever talks to me. Nobody ever talks to a 6-foot woman. Nobody ever talks to a 6-foot, incredibly beautiful woman. And I felt her relax when I realized it's lonely up there. And once you can start feeling your brokenness and saying, hey, this is just who I am, you feel it, celebrate it, put the lacquer in the cracks and the gold leaf and everything, not to hide it, but to emphasize, now you can start to feel other people. And they won't have to hide their cracks from you. Your brokenness is your vulnerability. But it's not the vulnerability of poor me. That's not actually vulnerability. It's the vulnerability that says, I have cracks, I've got divots, I've got a dent in my head. Let's put gold in it. But all I want you to do is take your brokenness for a walk. Just walk it around. It's me and my history, and there's no perfection, and there's no pristine, and there's no destination. And once you start to really feel that, you can feel this, it's crazy, but you can start to feel this beams of light coming out of your cracks, which starts to expand you and says, I'm another human being on the planet. Not better or worse. In fact, you're like everybody else who has these cracks and these divots and these head dents.